Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Vanessa from The Whole Story, and today I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to do a book review slash book opinion for you. So today I wanted to talk about a book I just finished. It is by Amanda Palmer, and it is called The Art of Asking, and the subtitle is How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Let People Help. If you don't know Amanda Palmer, she is famous for a TED Talk by the same subject. It has like over 1 million views, and she's also the past lead singer of the Dresden Dolls, and now she also tours with a different band. And I've been a fan of hers for a while, and I loved her TED Talk. I loved how honest and raw it was, and I just wanted to check out her book to see kind of the long story of how she came about doing that TED Talk. So if you have not seen the TED Talk, I will link it below so you can check it out. It's totally worth watching if you are an artist or just someone looking to start a new idea and reach out for help to fund that idea. So basically the book is part autobiography, part self-help. So it goes on her backstory of how she came about making art as a living. She started as a living statue and basically just stood in the street as a statue, offered people flowers, and they gave her money for her art. Basically, I'm sure if you live in a big city, you've seen people do street art before, and even if you don't live in a big city, I mean, I think it's pretty common knowledge that people do that. And it was basically her way of making a living, doing something she loves, without having to compromise her beliefs and without getting a regular 9-to-5. So I thought that was a really cool beginning to a story, because I think so many of us think that straight out of college we need to get a 9-to-5 to survive, and sometimes people love that lifestyle, but a lot of people don't. So she kind of starts there, and then she talks about, I won't go into every detail, but basically she talks about how she started a band and she started funding this band and touring and making music through her fans, which is so rad. So she set up mailing lists, and she obviously started a website, and eventually once it was available, she started Twitter. And through just communicating with her fans, keeping an open line of communication, she kind of built this amazing support group. So people would offer a place for her to stay, they would offer her food, they would obviously offer her money. And she just had a great community of people just by being honest and saying, hey, I make music for a living. It's not always lucrative. Help me out if you love what I do. And if you're a music fan and a fan of any art, you know that when you really love an artist, you would do anything to see them continue to make that art that moves you. So it just made sense. And then she kind of goes into a dark period where they signed with a major label because she just needed more money. And essentially, basically what happened was she started with the label, she got a big paycheck, and she realized they just didn't support her vision. They didn't like how in tune she was with her fans, they didn't like how she was reaching out for money, they didn't like the videos she was making for songs, they didn't like that she didn't have hit singles, etc., etc. I mean, I'm pretty sure that probably happens to a lot of people that sign with major labels, and kind of, if they don't produce hits, if they don't have the same vision, they kind of get, pushed to the side. You aren't making money for us, so goodbye. Anyway, long story short, she gets herself kicked off her label because she realizes, hey, I can do this my way and better without them. And yeah, the paycheck was great, but I'd rather struggle than to have my integrity sucked out of me. So I won't spoil it. You can read it if you want, but she basically gets kicked off her label. And then she goes back to doing what she loves. She not rebuilt, I mean, it was always there, but she builds her community, she asks for support, and she ends up wanting to make a new album. And she is responsible for having the biggest artist-based Kickstarter ever. I know she at least got $1 million, but it might have been more. I'd have to double check. But yeah, I mean, whatever. She had her fans contribute over $1 million for her to make an album for them. And a lot of people were embarrassed for her. A lot of people are like, you're basically panhandling on the internet. And her whole thing is, why should I feel ashamed to ask people that believe in me for money? Why should I feel like I can't do that? I mean, it doesn't really make sense. And I totally agree. I mean, I think there are some BS Kickstarters out there of people who are just reaching for money who don't have a clear vision. But if you have a fan base and you have that great connection with your fans, I don't see why it should be something shameful to ask them for their help, you know? I mean, hey, again, like I said earlier, I make this thing that you love, and I want to continue making it on my own terms and giving it to you as raw as possible. Can you help me out? And if people want to do that, then people should be able to do that. I mean, I think that's common sense. So that's kind of the long story short. There's also some things about how she felt guilty taking money from her wealthy husband, which I think is a really important lesson, just how she saw herself, how it helped her grow and ask for help in a totally different level. But for the sake of this review and for the sake of the message I think is most important to, you know, the majority of people out there, I think you should be able to ask for help to fund your dreams. And I don't think you should just take money from anyone. I don't think you should do it if you really are flailing and don't know what the outcome is. But if you have a clear goal and if you have people backing you up, don't be afraid to ask for help. You know, she has this little blurb in here, I can't remember the exact quote, but basically she goes, if you have a wealthy uncle who has a beach house and you just want to go and write for a week, don't hesitate to ask. If you have, you know, a friend, you know, has the money to give you and you know you can pay it back, ask for that money. Of course, money is such a sensitive topic, which I think is so cool that she writes about it, because I think so many of us, including me, hate asking for favors, especially when you're afraid of the outcome, especially when you're afraid of the answer. But I think the most important message to take away from this book is ask for help, because no one got to where they are without getting help from somebody. No one gets to the top. No one reaches a dream completely on their own, whether it's fans, whether it's friends, whether it's family. You know, you have to have some kind of backing to make your dream, quote unquote, come true. And I think that's such an important message, especially for young people, especially for people starting over. You know, I think we just put so much pressure on ourselves, and I am guilty of it too, and sometimes you need the help. So yeah, I think that's the majority of what I wanted to say. I could talk about this book forever, and I would love to like maybe do a book club discussion one day when I have more followers. But for the sake of this video and kind of a starting point, I think that's the biggest takeaway. You know, ask for help when you need it. Believe in yourself enough to get the support, to get whatever you need to make your dreams or your, you know, your business dreams come true. And I think that's something not enough of us do. Not enough of us believe in ourselves enough to reach out. And it's such a brave thing to reach out, so don't be afraid to do that. So yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna say about this book. Again, I really loved it. It's Amanda Palmer, The Art of Asking. She's a super rad lady. You can check out her website. I will link it below because I just think her blog is awesome as well. It's amandapalmer.net. And I really enjoyed this read. It was really inspiring, and it really taught me a thing or two. And my lighting is completely gone, and this video is going to be a little bit grainy, so I apologize, but thanks for sticking with me. If you have read this and you have opinions on it, please leave it in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. If you have opinions on crowdfunding in general, I would love to hear from it. I know it can be a controversial subject, and it's something I am willing to talk about. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for me. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And you can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. It's The Whole Story, whole with a 0 as the O. And I will link all of that stuff below too. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.